Hello and welcome to NRL Tonight. I'm Jake Duke. Thank you for your company. Here's what's making headlines tonight. Panthers coach Ivan Cleary shuts down claims he could take over the Blues job for next year's State of Origin series. Michael Maguire lifts the lid on a verbal stoush with a Broncos great. And a fresh twist in the ZAC Lomax saga that could see the code hopper return to rugby league in 2028. Yes, all that and plenty more coming up, but we start with the Broncos, and they were ended last year. They ended the Panthers' premiership run last year, and now it's Penrith's chance for payback. With one more loss likely to finish Brisbane's season, the title holders are desperate to earn victory for the first time since April.
It's all hands on deck in Brisbane as the Premiers prepare to make their last stand.
I can't remember the last time I've had Payno and Paddy play together. Yeah, that's a great example of what we've been through.
Haas and Carrigan join Reece Walsh, Adam Reynolds and Ezra Mam in a restocked Brisbane side. You also might have heard of Penrith's new players though, as Liam Martin, Isaiah Yeo and Nathan Cleary return to take on the team that denied them a sixth straight grand final.
They got the rings and there's no way we can take them off them. So this year's a new year, and all we can do is prepare our best, but understand that, it's going to be a fair challenge against a very good team.
Broncos utility Billy Walters won't feature as he continues his comeback from an ACL in the Queensland Cup for South's Logan. NRL coach Michael Maguire forced to defend his relationship with QRL counterpart Carmichael Hunt after a disagreement over which position Walters should play.
We work really well with the affiliate clubs, but also too having your own team also is handy at times as well. But I've actually found the three coaches that I work with exceptional. And to be able to have that relationship with them about what you need to do with players, obviously it's all in the best interest of your players, and that's why we have those guys. Look, I feel that it helps your players to be able to play together. We work really hard out here and we build connections and cohesion amongst the team. That does help, but our model, as shown last year, works.
Maguire also cautious about publicly declaring interest in Canberra forward Corey Horsburgh, reportedly unhappy at the Raiders. Brisbane firms is a logical landing spot.
We've got a pretty handy squad that we have here at the moment, so juggling through that at the moment is the most important part. But look, I know there's plenty of players that would like to come to the Brisbane Broncos. So look, he's not the only one.
Back from Bali, Panthers coach Ivan Cleary cut a more relaxed figure, removing himself from New South Wales contention for now.
No, that's very humbling, but no, I'm fully focused on the job at hand, the rest of this year and next year. I'm going to give Panthers my all. Looking forward to doing that.
Cleary's leaving, but injured hooker Mitch Kenny isn't, signing a 4-year extension.
Mitch is a huge part of our team. Not just the way he plays, but he's a great leader, great team man.
The 28-year-old is due back from a broken leg next week. Josh Bristow, Fox Sports News.
To talk all things rugby league tonight, I'm joined by former Panther Benny Ross. Benny, thank you for your time. We just heard from Ivan Cleary then. He's ruled himself out of the Origin job for next year. Many expect Laurie Daly to step down. Are you surprised that Ivan wasn't willing to maybe, juggle with Peter Wallace and have that 6-week period where he might take it on?
Well, that's what I thought would probably happen. I thought that he'd come in and let Peter Wallace sort of get his feet under the desk and have a bit of a role there, but from all those accounts, but he still seemed unsure. It wasn't a definite, no, I'm not going to coach next year. I reckon we still got to watch this space because I think the NRL would be silly not to have him there.
Who do you think, obviously, if Ivan rules himself out, who's the next candidate if Laurie steps down, which many expect he will?
Well, you've got the coaching staff there already, so you've got Matty King there, but I think Boyd Courtner, he's done his coaching apprenticeship, and I think he's one of those guys who really does understand Origin.
All right, let's get on to the Panthers. There was concern when we heard about the Jerome Luai signing to PNG and so many of their big stars kind of coming off contract at the end of 27 that there could be a mass exodus and PNG would target a lot of their players. Yeah. The fact that Mitch Kenny has re-signed for 4 years, it's a big boost for the club.
Oh, it is. And it's a reality check that you think you're going to lose a number of players. The grounds are getting bigger, the clubs are getting bigger, and that's the thing. You're having Mitch Kenny now there stabilising the club. You need those bigger, larger players to recruit and maintain players. So it's a good outcome for Penrith, and I know that over the next few weeks they'll sign a lot more.
Yeah, of course, still watching that space on that man, Isaiah Yeo, Nathan Cleary, Dylan Edwards, guys that still will be off contract at the end of next year and they want to lock them down. Let's talk about tomorrow night's clash. CommBank Stadium. We remember that epic prelim final last year where Brisbane stormed home, beat Penrith to go to the grand final. Yeah. Do you think the Panthers remember how that felt?
Yeah, and the Panthers will be saying, oh, no, we're not concentrating on that. We're just thinking about the game ahead this year and doing that. But in the back of their minds, yeah, it cost them a grand final. They should have won it last year. And knowing that the Broncos took them out and then got that premiership ring, it'll burn them. And
they have the chance to effectively end the Broncos season
Correct.
This year.
Yeah.
But Michael Maguire's gone all in. 14 of the grand final playing squad are in the squad this weekend. There's no excuses for Brisbane, right?
No.
Like, if they need to win, and they've got the team to do it.
Yeah, and we're talking about they haven't won a game since April, so what's it, 8 straight games,
Yep.
a few buys. They're closer to a win than ever. So to put all their cards on the table right now and give it a fair crack is probably the only thing they can do, but they're coming up against a red-hot Penrith side.
Are you nervous a little bit even as a Panthers man?
Not really, no, not one bit.
All right, hold you to that. 'Cause Brisbane, we know what they can do when they're at their best. Let's move on to former Eels ZAC Lomax now, and he could be on his way back to the NRL in 2028. The 26-year-old is reportedly in conversations with the PNG Chiefs to join them for their inaugural season. It comes after the Storm attempted to lure the code hopper to Melbourne for next year, but Lomax will instead remain with Super Rugby side the Western Force. The Eels were reportedly hoping to use Lomax as part of a player swap for Storm outside back Jack Howarth, who is free to explore his options for rival clubs in the 2027 season. Benny, ZAC Lomax, he'd be a great signing
for
PNG. We're just talking about some of the players that could end up there.
Yeah, and he'd be great. You talk about the flair, someone who can attract players to the game. Like PNG is going to be huge in itself, but you need those exuberant players that, like him, that can attract more people. And I think it'd be a perfect signing for them.
It's kind of crazy that at the start of the year, if the Storm released Jack Howarth at the start of the year, they would have ZAC Lomax now. But they kind of said no to Parramatta, and now they're willing to let Jack Howarth explore his options. So they kind of are in this boat because they put themselves there. Now they won't have Lomax this year.
But you look at what Melbourne have done. At the beginning of the year, we all thought they were going to be premiership favourites. They're there, they were playing well. But the game's changed. The 6 against, those type of things. Melbourne need to reassess now, and they thought that Jack was in those plans, but as I said, the game has changed and he doesn't fit the way that they want to play.
Yeah, it's a good point. Things change and the benefit of hindsight, right? Yeah. Interesting to note the Wallabies next year when they run out for the World Cup, 2027. Yep. You're going to have names like Lomax, Crichton, Suoli'i, Nwanganitawase. Very rugby league feel, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It is. And it's exciting to see that NRL players can cross code and come over to the rugby union. They'll be amazing for the Wallabies. But the thing is, they've all spoken about wanting to come back and play in the NRL. It's World Cup. It's exciting for them, but the real game is us.
Talking about Parramatta, talking about PNG, the big news in the last 48 hours has been Jerome Luai. What did you make of that signing?
Yeah, I think it's a great signing for Parramatta. People talk about they haven't done that well this year. I think they've done fantastic. They've improved their culture, their game. They've had a number of injuries, and putting him in there for a year and sort of he'd be able to guide a number of players around and also give them that upbeat that they need. I think it's a fantastic signing for you.
Playing alongside Mitch Moses as well, they won an Origin
decider. They'll be back in the semi-finals.
All right, the Warriors will be wary of a Dragons side looking to cause an upset at Mount Smart Stadium on Saturday night. Kurt Capewell and Mitch Barnett are back after being rested post-Origin, with the teammates ending up on opposite side of the series result.
See, there's so much effort. I think their young guys obviously look ambitious. Their senior players, I feel like, are putting it together with the combination of the young guys. So they've got this experience that doesn't want to be where they are. They want to be better, and they're starting to improve. And they're the young guys. You can see they want it really bad. So they're a dangerous combination at the moment. You know, and like you said, I thought they were hard to beat the night we played them at Cogra, but I think they're going to be even harder this week.
Has Mitch Barney been giving you his step?
No, he's actually been quite nice, which is weird. Barney's he's lost one too, so he knows what it feels like to be in my position. He'll tell you he didn't play in that game, so technically he hasn't. But he played really well in that game and deserved the win.
So you've been quite courageous in your Origin, weren't you? When you came into Master.
That's not really. Well, I was about to say it's not really me. All my mates would listen to this and laugh because it is me. But I know how much how hard it is. You could see the disappointment on his face and that sort of thing. And mate, I copped a lot of stick. at the start of the series and all that sort of thing. So I know it's not a pleasant place, so I don't really like to rub it in, but I dare say, at some stage later on in the year, I might, when it dust settles a bit.
Dragons players are hopeful Dean Young will be named the club's permanent coach. The 42-year-old took the reins at St George Illawarra in April following the departure of Shane Flanagan and is favourite to get the full-time job.
Yeah, probably because they probably know who already who it's going to be. I think it's going to be Youngie. I hope it is, and I've seen Drinky come out and said something similar. So we all back Youngie, and we see the performances that we're putting on as not only for ourselves and for our club and for our fans, but for Youngie, it's we know how much he loves this club, and he's bled and sweat and done everything for this team, for this club, and I think he deserves his the first crack at it. But yeah, I ain't on the board, so we'll see how we go. Yeah, there is excitement. Obviously, when you see the confirmation of the players, signing, usually they don't come out till the end. But when they're signed and you see your club posting it, it is pretty exciting. It makes you lift as a player as well, and the team. You don't want your exciting players to come into a team where they feel like they have to do more than they have to. You kind of want to bring them into a solid team. We want to finish the year strong. We want to try and upset some teams at the end of the year and hopefully not be playing in the spoon bowl. But our focus at the moment now is just week by week. I think we've got 7 or 8 games left, and just really enjoy. We've got a lot of guys leaving at the end of the year as well, so I just want to enjoy it with them and try and get as many wins as we can.
Yeah, it's been a tough old season for the Dragons, Benny. Are you surprised it's taken this long for them to settle on a new coach, or do you like that they're taking their time with the decision?
I really like that they've taken their time for the decision. It's something that I feel a lot of clubs jump into early, sign the coach on 1 or 2 wins and see where the club goes. I really feel the Dragons have taken their time, understanding what's out there, what coaching philosophies there are, with Dean Young, Ben Hornby and the others to say. It makes sense, and I hope that they take even more time and maybe announce it right at the end of the year.
Well, is it best to stick with someone, Dean Young, like they talk there about his pedigree, his connection to the club, but he also has been a part of this season and this kind of roster that they built this year that has struggled big time, just the 2 wins. Do you see going in that same direction and keeping him, or is it best to start fresh, refresh, with a number of fresh players coming in?
And that's the thing. Dean Young's a fantastic coach, and as you said, he's been through all these type of things, and it's whether you want to take that risk again. It's if it was me, I'd clean out everything. I'd start fresh with a new coach, new players, and have a new understanding of what the club is about and build that culture. At the moment, I don't know if the culture's right there and the right fit for the players.
All right, they take on the Warriors over in New Zealand this weekend, which is a tough road trip. And for the Warriors, news today, Kurt Capewell's re-signed for another season, which is great news for that side that has great young back row forward talent coming through, but a guy like Kurt Capewell has proven time and time again that he is the kind of glue that sticks it all together.
That's the thing. He's got that old head on him. He's been in a number of clubs, won premierships, and he just seems to hold everything together. And to have him there for another year just makes sense. Those young Kiwi forwards coming through, they need that guidance and that leadership, and it'll be all better for it.
Yeah, it's exciting time for the Warriors. We'll stay with us here on NRL Tonight. Plenty more coming up, but as we head to the break, we leave you with a preview of this week's edition of The Fan. That's tonight, NRL 360, after NRL 360 on Fox League.
Your debut game.
Yep.
In round 11, 1988. Could you name for me the players that ran out in the team alongside you?
Oh gosh, Glenn Lazarus. Did I say Laurie?
Yep.
Yep. Chica. I have the winger that I can't remember is not watching this show when you wear it.
Well, this one might still be in the game.
He played on the wing.
In your debut, it was on the wing.
Back line.
Wembley, try, big dive. Part of the plan, or did it just happen? Take us back to the moment.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's probably a bit carrying on, but anything for the fans, mate. They're the reason why we have such an amazing game, I guess. So, yeah, I sort of enjoy getting people out of their seats and engaged in the game.
Welcome back to NRL Tonight. I'm Jake Duke. Thank you for your company. Mark Nwanganita-Wase is set to pass on a chance to represent the Kangaroos at this year's Rugby League World Cup. The Roosters winger had been the subject of discussions over a special arrangement that would allow him to feature for Australia at the end of the season tournament. At the same time, Rugby Australia hoped he would join the Wallabies for their spring tour. Instead, the 25-year-old is reportedly planning to head to Japan early to link up with his new rugby union club, the Wild Knights, giving him extra time to prepare for their mid-November trial matches. Ashton Ward has no plans on relinquishing the Rabbitohs number 7 jersey he's made his own this season. The playmaker's comments come after penning a contract extension, which will see him remain at South Sydney until the end of the 2028 season.
Yeah, of course I'm happy with it. I've obviously been on the 1-year contracts the last couple of years, so to feel a bit more comfortable to be signed over the next couple of years, I'm really happy with it. And this is the place where I want to be, so yeah.
Just from where you came at the start of the year to crack into the top 30, now to be locked in long term, do you surprise even yourself where you got to now being the first choice halfback here?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I had that injury at the start of the season, so I thought coming back from it, I'd just probably get a few games back in Cup and hopefully strive to be back in the first grade team towards the end of the year. But to be put back in so early, I was pretty happy with it, and then to maintain my spot, yeah, of course I've been pretty happy, yeah. Growing up, I was a Dragon, so I never really thought this was going to be my place to be. But now that I'm here and I've, grown to, become friends with all the boys and all the staff, I've definitely wanted to. That was my dream once I've got here to be the Rabbitohs number 7. So hopefully with this new contract, that can I can build on that and hopefully become that. Wayne, he keeps things pretty simple for me, so. He's always harping on about, me sticking to my strengths, not trying to think too far outside of the box, not trying to think too far ahead. So really just trying to keep things simple for me.
Yeah, he's been one of the great stories, young Ashton Ward. The fact that he came in last year as probably the 4th-string halfback, was only supposed to play under 21s after signing from the Dragons. And he's forged a very good start to his career. And as we noted, just watching him, he still looks like he's in school.
Well, that's the thing. You look at it, the body is yet to mature, really, isn't it? You look at it, but he's got great leg speed. He can read the play. He's got a great kicking game. And he sort of fit that mould that South need at the moment.
Yeah, he's defence well. He puts his body in the way, even though he's about 75 kilos ringing wet. Yeah. Raiders South this weekend. Good game. A lot of big names coming back for both teams. Cody Walker back in for the Bunnies. And the Raiders in particular, need to keep winning, but South as well.
Yeah, and the Souths have been performing exceptionally well. I think 2 from the last 3. As you said, they've got players coming back. They're getting stronger by each week. And then you look at the Raiders. I think the Raiders are the team that we really want to come on that final end-of-season run. They're the ones I'm looking at to really make an improvement.
Well, I asked that to Ricky Stewart in the press conference last week after they hammered the Bulldogs. I said, does a result like tonight let you know that team that finished first last year is still in there? And he didn't want to muse on it too much, Ricky, but can they make a run home? They've got a tough run. Let me read it out to you. They've got the Rabbitohs, the Tigers, the Panthers, the Knights, the Sharks, Broncos, Cowboys. It is tough, but what they showed last week is that team is still in there.
Yeah, when you talk about a Ricky Stewart team, you talk about a tough team. And so going through that run, he'll have them up and ready for every game coming into the semis. I think they could probably win 6 of those. If they're right, they've got some phenomenal players and they just need to get their heads in the right position.
And that might be enough, with that logjam of teams around that top 8. All right, it'll be the case of Master v Apprentice this Sunday when Zane Harrison comes up against former Titans half and now Manly coach Kieran Foran. The 20-year-old explaining the lessons he learned from Foran in his final season before hanging up the boots.
Pretty comfortable, to be honest. I think that's been my game. Growing up as a kind of that specialist halfback that kind of likes to guide a team around, and I'm pretty much doing the same for an NRL team, which is cool to think. But I've been pretty confident and comfortable with my ability in doing that.
How much time did you spend training under Kieran Foran when he was here?
Yeah, so I had a little pre-season when I was 17, about 6 to 8 weeks, and then I had the whole of last year as well. So, yeah, about a year and a half.
What big takeaways or, I guess, little lessons did you learn from him? He's obviously one of the best in the game, one of the most decorated.
Yeah, I think just his toughness. He was an old fellow when I was coming in, but, yeah, his leadership, his toughness, his competitiveness he's got that never say die attitude. So, it was good getting a year under Fozzie and, the experience and leadership he shows is something I try to take into my game now.
How much are you, I guess, wanting to stick it to Foz when he comes to see us this week?
Yeah, obviously, at the end of the day, it's a business. You want to win. You want to win games for your club, for your fans, for your family. So yeah, he's a legend, but obviously we're chasing a win at home this week.
The NRL is marking a milestone, celebrating the 20th edition of Harvey Norman Women in League Round. The NRLW continues to grow each season, with players saying the competition is only getting stronger. Bulldogs co-captain Taylor Preston is one of many leading the charge, and she caught up with our reporter Gemma Barge.
Taylor Preston, the 20th year of the Women in League Round for Harvey Norman. How special is this day and to be a part of it?
Yeah, it's such a huge honour and privilege to be here today. I think we don't celebrate the women enough in our game. I think it's amazing what Katie Page has done, just to be able to put us women on a platform, and I think just to be able to recognise all the amazing women behind the scenes, that are volunteers, grassroots level, both on and off the field, I think too. It's just amazing to be able to celebrate women and also capture us in a different light, and merge two worlds of the art and the sport world too. I think it's really special and it's super empowering and just so special to be a part of.
You mentioned the artwork. Australian artist Shireen Farr did these 12 incredible portraits to represent yourself and the women in the game. Tell us what it was like to work together with her on this.
Yeah, Shireen was amazing. She made us feel really, safe and be our authentic selves there and just embrace what it's all about. And, like Katie Page spoke earlier about is, being, warrior women and just really embracing that. And I guess, we always show our tough sides, but to be able to have a soft edge to us as well, I think is really special. And, she just had a creative mind and we just worked with it. And for me, I just love being a part of it. I think, never in a million years did I think I'd be able to be captured in a way that she has. And I guess the photos just speak volumes and it's really special and kind of gives us goosebumps every time we've seen the images now.
Tay, when you look back at how much the game has grown, can you believe where you guys are now and where also that you're heading?
Yeah, never in a million years did I ever think we'd probably be here. I think, I was always that kid on the hill running around, cheering on the boys. But to be here now is super special. I think, something that all us girls don't take for granted. We absolutely feel so privileged to be here. And, I've got to give a huge credit to all the amazing women that came before us. We definitely wouldn't be here without them. And, it's super exciting times to be a part of Women in League. And also, I guess I'm so excited for the future and our future generations. I think, they're going to be full-time athletes and just to be, you can't be what you can't see. So to be able to be on a platform now and, have amazing young fans cheering us on in the stands, it's so special and I know it gives us goosebumps every single time.
You're against a Sharky side this week who I'm sure will be hungry after starting the season with 2 losses. How do you get the win against them on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a fiery match. We're obviously both coming off 2 losses there, in rounds 1 and 2. But, for us, we're just really focusing on ourselves. I think, the energy's really high at training still, and that's what's really important for us. We're really focusing on our culture, and, we want to be able to go out there and show our brand of footy. We've been probably a bit disappointed in how we've played the first 2 rounds, and we know that's not us. And, we know we've been working hard in the pre-season, so we just want it to be, kind of all come together and, be a force to be reckoned with. So, we'll be coming after the Sharkies.
Caitlin Irwin is loving life in league with the former Wallaroos squad member starring on the wing for Brisbane. The 26-year-old has already impressed in just 2 games in the NRLW, scoring a try and averaging 80 run metres. The Union convert says she's enjoying learning her new code on the run.
I think all the coaching staff has been really amazing and really grateful for their support and backing me. But yeah, they've just been really supportive and helpful, answering any questions that I have, going over video reviews and stuff like that. So they've been great in supporting me to, try and play really great footy.
The Broncos take on the West Tigers this Sunday in Brisbane, with both sides undefeated so far this season. Dragons fullback Tegan Berry has opened up on her decision to leave the club at the end of the season. The 24-year-old has scored 39 tries in 43 games for the Red V since her NRL debut in 2020. Only Broncos star Tamika Upton has scored more tries in the history of the competition than Berry.
I guess I started here at the club when I was 18 and that's pretty much all I've known since playing in 2020 up until this point. So yeah, obviously it's upsetting that I'm leaving, but at the same time I'm really excited for the next journey. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's a new challenge for me and, it's all I've known is this club, so it'd be nice to go out of my comfort zone and experience something different. My full focus has been on this club since I've forever put this jersey on, so yeah, it hasn't been an easy decision, but I'm ready to do everything I can for this jersey for 2026.
Berry's next club is yet to be confirmed, but she recently made her New South Wales Origin debut under Roosters NRLW coach John Strange. The Dragons are 1-1 to start their NRLW campaign. They take on the Knights in Newcastle on Sunday night. Benny, let's have a little bit of a chat about the NRLW, considering it is women in league round. We're just noting that you would like to see maybe a system where the talent and the stars are maybe a bit more spread across the NRLW clubs.
We do. So the progression of the girls' game, obviously they're all learning the code still. They've only been in the game a number of years, and filling one team with all the superstars isn't good for the game. You need a salary cap. You need to spread them back out. Berry's been one of the most fantastic players for the Dragons, and to see her leave that team is a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, all right. I want to talk to you about the grassroots of the game, because you have young daughters that are in the rugby league grassroots system. They play it. They love the game. How inspiring is that to see young girls look up to girls like that?
Yeah, they do. I'm coaching the D-La under-12s girls team at the moment, and they go to every Sharks NRLW game. They just admire these women. That I suppose it's a platform now for girls to be able to excel in something that is known worldwide or Australia-wide for us, and it's a great thing.
All right, beautiful. Thanks for your time, Benny Ross. Thank you for your company on NRL Tonight. Stay with us here on NRL on Fox League. You've got NRL 360 up next. See you tomorrow.